In a world where energy and sustainability are at the forefront of global discussions, two giants in the oil industry are making a move that's turning heads and stirring debates. Let's see a story that's as unexpected as it is pivotal. Why are oil behemoths, Shell and BP, investing heavily in U.S. farmland? We can see a large field of solar panels surrounded by a herd of sheep at Elm Branch Solar Farm, which is located around 1 hour south of Dallas, Texas. You might wonder what sheep have to do near solar panels. Will they get any energy from it? Leave it. Just kidding. The sheep graze on the grass and snooze in the shade the panels provide under the watchful eye of Amanda Stoffels, the flock's shepherd. Though it is leased to Lightsource BP, a significant solar energy provider that is 50% controlled by British oil giant BP, Stoffels is the land's owner. Her grazing contract with Lightsource pays her to graze her sheep near the panels to control vegetation, and the leasing payments provide her with a consistent monthly income. According to Stoffels, it's a new, modern approach to agriculture. Her agreements with Lightsource enabled her to resign from her 9-to-5 work and pursue her career as a full-time shepherd. What an amazing way of earning a passive income. If you have any plans in future to start a farm and become financially free, then do share them in the comments. A developing sector of the economy known as agrivoltaics blends crop cultivation, beekeeping, and sheep grazing with the generation of solar energy. Hence, here both farmers and solar developers, with frequently conflicting interests in land usage, may find it easier to get along with one another if they adopt this land management technique. According to Jordan Macknick, the National Renewable Energy Laboratory's lead energy waterland analyst, every square inch of land in the United States, despite its vast size and abundance of available land, is either owned, protected, or treasured by a multitude of individuals. Moreover, he added that a great deal of people oppose seeing that land altered or transformed from its current state. According to Macknick, agrivoltaic projects can be a kind of compromise. He said that the ability to continue cultivating and engaging in other agricultural activities while also creating clean electricity is really what agrivoltaics gives us. Research on producing crops on solar farms is still in its infancy, and some farmers remain skeptical. How much do you think our society is open to innovation? What are the measures they might take to build it into a reality? The farmers prefer property that has a 1% to 4% slope, so solar takes some of the greatest acreage out of production, said Tom Koronek, a landowner and beekeeper who rents land to Lightsource and makes honey on the solar farm. He claims that the treeless level land is perfect for growing crops and installing solar panels. Nevertheless, agrivoltaic projects are as near to a win-win situation as we have right now for farmers and solar producers, and experts predict that as the solar business grows quickly, agrivoltaics will grow right along with it. However, do you think if this is made commercially, a lot of trees will be removed, which will destroy the natural beauty of the land? For the country to achieve its decarbonization targets, a significant quantity of utility-scale solar infrastructure must be developed. Since 44% of the land area in the United States is used for agriculture, several solar companies are aiming to highlight new projects on farms. According to Becca Jones-Albertus, director of the U.S. Department of Energy's Solar Energy Technologies Office, I believe that the main reason solar developers are drawn to agrivoltaics is that it contributes to public enthusiasm and acceptance of solar projects. In our nation, grazing land makes for roughly 1/3 of all land uses, and you've now unlocked a massive business opportunity that wasn't there before if you can combine it with the production of solar energy. Hence, we might need to conclude there should be a proportion between the trees removed and the land used for such innovations, so no harm is caused on both sides. Currently, there are approximately 5 gigawatts of agrivoltaic installations in the United States, covering over 35,000 acres in over 30 states. Even though this only makes up about 3% of the nation's installed solar power, farmers are starting to take notice of this expanding industry. Regarding leasing his land to Lightsource, Koronek remarked, "It's a far better financial contribution than growing crops. Crops are really dangerous. Thus, you can have a strong return in certain years and a poor return in others. Thus, this is a consistent annual revenue." Lightsource manages 615 megawatts of solar and sheep grazing projects in total, which makes up around 12% of all agrivoltaic plants in the country. Next year, the business intends to add 1,058 megawatts of new projects. Shell has another stake in the solar developer Silicon Ranch, for which it owns 44% of the company. The ranch has 1,300 megawatts of agrivoltaic projects in operation, and during the next 2 years, another 900 megawatts are scheduled to be added. Silicon Ranch owns the land outright, frequently buying deteriorated farmland that is no longer in production, while the majority of solar companies choose to lease their property. Imagine the cash flow that you will be able to generate if you lease your property. You might be amazed at the potential of the land you own. Reagan Farr, co-founder and CEO of Silicon Ranch, said, "We want to inform these communities that we are committed for the long haul and that we're going to become members in significant ways. So, our real estate ownership business strategy was based on our perception of this asset class. Silicon Ranch, like LightSource, pays nearby ranchers to let sheep graze on their solar arrays. However, Farr claims that due to a scarcity of sheep, Silicon Ranch has to invest in its herd, which it hopes to increase to over 30,000 by 2030. LightSource and Silicon Ranch continue to be the biggest companies in the domestic ag-voltaic business, despite the presence of other competitors like Enel Green Power and US Solar. As of now, big American oil companies like Exxon and Chevron have not made any investments in agrivoltaics. Growing crops beneath and in between solar panels is a more challenging task, even if it is relatively well established how to feed sheep and establish pollinator habitats among the panels. Theoretically, many crops, like tomatoes and broccoli, can grow beneath solar panels. But in order for crops to reach their maximum height, the solar array's design must usually be changed. Hence, this is commonly accomplished by raising the panels. That gets expensive, and scaling up is difficult, even in places where the economics of small-scale solar installations might be profitable. According to Macnick, it will be very tough to see crop production agrivoltaics happen at a scale bigger than 5 megawatts at a time, he said, referring to the current cost of PV technology and the state of the American energy markets. There is still a lot of enthusiasm in this field, even though utility-scale food production and solar energy projects are unlikely to materialize very soon. In order to facilitate the deployment of more than 1 megawatt of projects centered on crop production, and more than 10 megawatts of projects centered on grazing and pollinator habitats, the Department of Energy is currently sponsoring 6 agrivoltaic projects. In an attempt to use one of its locations as a pilot project in 2024, LightSource BP claims it is interested in going into the crop production business. According to Farr, Silicon Ranch has not yet pursued partnerships. However, whichever course of action both corporations and their supporters in the oil industry choose, favorable land use agreements and community relations will be crucial. If we don't improve the neighborhoods where we put these solar arrays, we risk having our social license revoked, and that will make it more difficult for us to achieve some of these extremely ambitious national renewable energy goals, Farr said. We might hear news of people living near oil rigs and factories suffering from breathing problems and allergies. Hence, this should be considered a serious issue, as we can't compromise the lives of people to build something. Families who have inherited land may find it appealing to sell it entirely, particularly if the land is no longer farmed and the children are at odds over what to do with it. So what are your thoughts on the situation? Please share them in the comments. And there you have it, folks, the intriguing reasons behind why oil giants like Shell and BP are turning their attention to US farmland. It's a complex tapestry of economics, sustainability, and perhaps a glimpse into the future of energy and agriculture. So stay tuned, stay curious, and remember, the future is unfolding right before our eyes, and together, we're going to explore every twist and turn. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.